Paranormal Evidence.
Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices
Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. We're all us.
We're all here.
We're here. Wow. Full house.
Nice.
And guess what? We have 13 audience watching us right now. Thank you.
And you guys will notice something, and this is what threw Chris off, is UNX no longer has that 30-second intro of the old disco porn music.
I was wondering where that went because I was ready to start, and there was nothing.
Yeah. So now we go straight to the EVPI intro, which threw me off.
Sorry, that was my fault. They did send an email. I forgot to forward it. Sorry. All right.
That's awesome.
Bastard.
And the email said that we are no longer going to be requiring you to use 1970s porn music for the opening. Because how do I miss that? I missed that stuff.
That's funny. Hey,
Jen.
Mary Beth.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Roll call.
Hey,
Jenny.
Jenny. Whoop, whoop.
She's that podcast lady, Jenny Colucci.
She is.
That podcast, she's with that podcast
And Miss
cannoli
Mary
guy.
Beth,
And
she's all over the place.
and
Love that.
that Kim lady that can
Uh-oh.
predict the future and the lottery numbers.
Yeah.
That was
Hey,
pretty good.
305.
5.
You bye, Armando and Jenny.
Yeah.
Hello. You might be seeing them on the show here in a little bit, in a couple of
Hopefully.
weeks.
Hopefully.
Seekers Chronicles was good. Kudos to them for their launch. They picked 2 excellent guests to launch the show, Chris and Audra, and the show was great. It had great guests. They had good chemistry. The way they organized and structured the show with the format that they were trying to accomplish, I think they accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yep,
Awesome.
they did a great job.
Yeah.
And
We enjoyed watching.
the concept is fantastic, and the way they structured it's going to do nothing but get better.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, that was really nicely done.
very
Yep.
nice.
They did a great job.
Yeah.
What'd y'all do last weekend?
We celebrated his birthday.
Let me guess.
yeah.
It's on the board behind you.
We celebrated a month late, or
I
more
know.
than a month. Dylan's 18th birthday. Schedules were
Happy
so.
birthday, Dylan,
I
again.
know,
So
Dylan.
we went ghost hunting to La Posada Hotel, which was good, but they wouldn't let us into the basement, which we weren't thrilled with. But it was still good. The time spent together, we had fun. It was good.
He enjoyed it. Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
All
was
right,
good.
Cognac, what'd you guys do?
We were up in Massachusetts,
All right.
in Fairhaven at the Mass Paracon, which was really cool. It was nicely done, beautiful area right by a marina. And hey, James, and it was fun. We got to spend time with a lot of friends, and it was the scheduling was odd. They had us speaking Friday night to lecture, and then because of traveling and traffic, we didn't know if we'd make it. So he goes, "Don't worry about it." Sam Baltruzza said, "Well, I'll put you on Saturday if not." So he put us on Saturday night at 10 o'clock
To
to
lecture.
lecture, and they were starting the investigation and splitting the group. I guess some would go to this other location to investigate a really cool looking place, and then other people would, I guess, stay back at the hotel for us. So I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. We'll have some people. It'll be fun. The room was full.
Nice.
Like
Very nice.
a lot of people hung back to see what it was we were doing. And then we ran Statacom a little bit after that. Patty Negri did a seance with a few other women in the room that were also mediums. It was really cool, but nicely done. Good
They
to see
picked
everybody.
up on my father.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
It was funny because they picked up on him. And so Patty says, "What's your father's name?" And I said, "You're not going to believe this. Lores." And she goes, "No, no, 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 no. What's your father's name?" Lores. That's my father's name. I'm technically a junior. That is kind of funny.
Yeah, she thought she misheard her.
Yeah, but it was kind of amazing that happened. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, a couple of them in tandem. It was really nice, but it was a nice event. We got to hang out with Patty, Rob Thompson,
Johnny Zaffis.
Oh, Johnny Zaffis, Richard Estep.
Yeah.
It was a
nice.
good time.
And you mentioned Brian Kano, right?
Brian Kano also. Yep.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
And that was our guest who said hello, I think. Wasn't that our guest?
No.
Oh.
Nobody will be.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Oh.
what it
We're
is.
guessing.
That's what it is. Okay, sorry.
So Otter and I did that. I was telling Tony and Cherie before the show, Otter and I did that private with PPIT about an hour and 10 minutes from here. And it was really cool experience. I'm not going to talk about it because it was a private residence, but there was one point where I was picking up that energies were walking through the yard, right? And they'd picked some up on their private cameras and stuff. And well, at one point, Audra and the girls from PPIT had gone right next door is a church with a great big cemetery. And we're talking headstones back to the 1700s, right? Early 1800s, late 1700s. And they had gone over there to try and do a little session to see what they could get in the graveyard. And Zach Bennett and I were standing there talking. I went, you know what? It's a wine glass. I went, you know what? I've got an idea. And I went over to the girls in the graveyard, and they had been, Audra had been doing her K2 thing, and they weren't getting any responses at all.
They were. I wasn't. They got a little bit. They were getting responses, but
on her K2.
My personal K2, which normally works well for me, not a thing.
Yeah.
And we were over there for like a half hour.
So I came up and they all came over and we were standing there talking, and I said, well, I came over here for a reason. I came over here to address the energies in the graveyard. And I started talking to him and I said, you know, I understand that you're no longer in physical form, and I'm glad that you're passed on and you're at rest, and you travel and go as you are, and you can go see whoever you want to see. You still have your free will. I'm happy that you're at peace. I said, I do have one question and one request from you. I said, would you please respect the homeowners in the blue house just right over here and no longer travel through their property? You're scaring them. They're not used to talking to you like we are. They're not used to seeing you. It's scaring them. So if you could quit traveling through their yard, that would be fantastic. And as I said that, her case too started going.
Oh, it was crazy.
Like people were responding. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, that's really
wow.
Nice. Very nice.
That's very cool.
But that's what we did. And then by the time we got to bed at 4 a.m., Audra slept until 2 p.m.
I did. 10.
Yeah, she did sleep till 10, which really happened.
Yeah. 4 to 10. That's still only 6 hours.
Yeah, but I went in and put a mirror underneath her nose to make sure she was still breathing.
Yeah, 10 o'clock is really late.
Don't you know mirrors are portals? You could have did something to her.
Yeah.
No nose scrying in the mirror when she's sleeping.
Her nose could have been in another dimension by now.
That's right. You know how many boogers came through that mirror?
Oh my God.
Alice in the Looking Glass. See the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, Alice in Wonderland.
That's right.
Anyway, that's a power nap.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
I laid down at 4:10 and Chris was up at 6:30 like always.
Rich Michelle.
Yeah.
Dada.
Richard.
Who's that
Richard
guy?
Dada Michelle.
Hey.
Rich, we were talking about you a lot at the Mass Paracon. We were telling people a lot about you. So if your phone doesn't ring, it's not our fault.
Take it off airplane mode.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So tonight we've got something really, really cool. This is a guy that Cherie and Tony have known for a while, and the rest of us get to meet him here tonight. Well, I've actually got to talk to him a little bit before the show, but so this is Dr. J.C. James Creachbaum. He has been investigating with paranormal for 30 plus years in many different states. There's nothing that paranormal he has not seen or done to help people with paranormal problems. He retired from boots on the ground and helping people in 2019. He's been in a couple documentaries. He's done some speaking engagements. He's also been interviewed on different radio shows. And he is the Monday night host of On Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, which airs at 9 p.m. Eastern. And everybody say hello to Dr. J.
Hey, hello.
What's up?
Hey.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hello.
Nice to meet you, James.
Very nice.
Because it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we last talked.
Yeah, it has. Yes.
So we read how long you've been doing this, Dr. J, but whenever we have a guest on the show for the first time, I ask them to explain to everybody how you got into the paranormal. But as long as you've been doing it, you might want to read it, how long you've been in the paranormal, because with all that history, I don't know if you can remember all of it, can you?
I can.
All right, here we go.
I can. First thing I got started, I've been seeing spirits since about age 3.5 probably. Used to play with a little Native American Indian boy every day, and I didn't know it was a spirit. What do I know back at 3.5 years old? I don't even know what a spirit is. To me, it was just little boy in the neighborhood my age. We'd play together, and every day my mom would make lunch. She'd say, "You want to come in?" I'd say to my friend, "Hey, you want to come in and have some lunch?" He'd say no. He would never come in the house. So one day I asked him, I said, "Why won't you come in the house and eat lunch with me and my mom?" He says, "Now I'm scared of the mean man in there." And he's right, because there was an old man in there who was always had a scowl on his face and was mean looking. And I'm 3. What do I know? Come to find, looking back now, that was a spirit too, and he wasn't a very nice spirit either. So anyway, this all came to a head one day. I went upstairs. I just got this brand new Spider-Man comic book. I went upstairs to show my mom. She said, "Be careful going back down the steps." I said, "Okay." So I go back downstairs, and at the head of the stairs is this mean old man. And I'm like, "Oh man," I'm thinking, I gotta get past this guy. I don't know no better. So I try to scamper by him kind of quick. And when I did, I felt 2 hands on my back, and he pushed me down them steps at 3.5 years old, man. I go head over, there's blood everywhere. It was horrible. I don't know what the guy's problem was, but I'm looking back now, that was an angry old man spirit in the house, and there was a Native American Indian boy outside. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, a couple of weeks shortly after that, within a month, we moved out of that house. But that was my first experience looking back into the spirit world. Kind of a rough one, actually.
Yeah.
Well, did your mom know then? Because if she asked to be careful on the stairs,
sensitive,
or
my parents was a different generation. I'd look back now. She knows I play with because I talked to her. I think she probably know, but she would never admit it. Different generation. There was another time too. We had like what they call a wall pocket. It was on the it's like a holds like flowers. It sits on the wall, made out of ceramic. And the way it was on there, it was like nails like this, and it can't come off of that hook. You have to pick it up. So I'm sitting there playing one day, and it come up off and crashed on top of my head. I still got the scar on top of my head where I had to get stitches. I think that was the old guy too, to be honest, but he didn't like me for some reason. But that was my first experience into the paranormal world. Looking back, yes, it was, and it was a rough one. Those things stay with you. Believe me, I still think about that angry old man. What was his problem with me? I'm 3.5. What do I know?
Right.
Gio wants to know if you've ever gone back there since.
No, I never have. Matter of fact, I think that house is tore down now. Honestly, but yeah. But there was a lot of, I don't know, there was some kind of history in that house. Obviously, there was an old man there that didn't want to leave. But no, I never went back.
Wow.
Nope.
Wow. Wasn't a fan of plants either, apparently.
Yeah. So I mean,
know the history of the house, or
never got the history or anything. I just one of those things that I just soon to forget it. I probably should. I've thought about doing it, but I just never have. Never got the history of anything. No.
So since then, have you ever seen other apparitions or anything like that? You have?
Oh yeah, many times. Matter of fact, I used to help people with paranormal problems. So not only would I help families, but I would help investigating teams too, because sometimes they'd help families, and there would be something there that might not have been what you call human spirits and other things. So I've seen things that you can't unsee. Believe me when I tell you. And yeah, I've seen a few spirits. Matter of fact, I seen in the Bel Air house. I seen. You ever see the movie Insidious?
Yes.
You ever see how that spirit woman had that scowl where she was like just looking straight forward? I seen a spirit of a man that was doing the same thing. If you go into Bel Air house at the very top, before you, the first bedroom to the left, there was a guy standing in there that was just doing that. I was like, I looked over and I said to Melissa, who was with me, I said, "Do you see that?" She goes, "Nope, I'm not even looking." She just kept going. So we kept going. But I don't know what was up. There was a smell too of like smoke in that room. I don't know if he was a smoker or something, but
Do you remember when we were there and what's their names?
I can't remember.
Stayed in that room and they're like, there's a smell in here. It smells like something's burning.
Yeah.
oh, you know the room. You know the one I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
we've been there. I know exactly
Yeah,
what room you're talking about.
It's a different room that we were.
We spent the night at the one at the end of the hall.
Yeah.
But the first one on the left is the one they stayed in. And they said, they're like, there's something burning in here or something.
I'm telling you, there's something burning in there. You're right. I couldn't figure it out, but yeah, I've been to that place probably 4 or 5 times over the years, and it's never. There's always something going on in that place. I'll tell you.
Yeah. And I agree.
Hi,
with
Kristen Lee, if she's watching.
I don't see her.
No, I want to say hi.
Awesome. Dr. J, tell us a little bit about your show.
Okay, my show, it's on every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I bring guests on. Some of them are very well known. I heard you talking about Patty Leggery. She's been on my show. I've had Lori Johnson, Dave Schrader, Brian Cano's been on my show, Daryl Marston, Brian Alvis. I've had a lot of well-known people on my show over the years.
Tony and Cherie.
Yeah, you guys are due to come on pretty soon. That's right, as soon as I get my other computer here. But yeah, I bring them on now with the hopes maybe something that the guest may say that might help somebody listening. Maybe they won't do something that will cause them a lot of, headaches.
Thomas Patrick Gormley. We just saw him up at the Mass Paracon, as well as Brian Cano. And we got off the phone with Daryl Marston like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I was just talking to Johnny Zaffis and Brian at the in May, where they were at the old Mansfield, the prison there.
Oh yeah.
Talking to them for a while, and hung out and got some pictures and things. But yeah, always good to hang, to talk and reminisce with those guys when I see them. I don't get to see them too much except in the Paracons when they're around. But and speaking of prisons. You guys, I'm sure, have investigated prisons, and I've been to a few of them from West Virginia, the one in Ohio. But of all the prisons I've been to, the one that stands out the most is Eastern State. I don't know what it is about Eastern State and Pennsylvania. It's in Philadelphia. But just going to it down Interstate 70, going eastbound, you can see it from miles away, and it's just like beckoning you. It's like the closer you get, the worse you feel. It's just horrible, that place. I don't know what it is about that prison. I've seen a lot of stuff in there too, dark stuff.
Yeah, it's just thinking it's unusual the diversity and experience that people will have. Of all of the places we have been over the years on both coasts, that was probably the least active spot that we had experienced was at Eastern State, and we know that's contrary to what a lot of people say. But for us, and we weren't doing Staticom at that time, so I should probably bring that up. But
describing how you felt beforehand, right? That's what you said. You felt like we felt that instead in Hinsdale. So sometimes that makes me think, is it because the location is haunted, or is it because certain people, if it's around us all the time and it's just that certain people bring up certain things? I mean, I don't know.
Well, you know what I think too, because I've been doing this a long time. And I got this theory that people have what I call spiritual baggage. So you've got all the, like Eastern State or any place that has people come in by the droves, they investigate. Who's to say they're not bringing something with them, and it might stay there. So now when you go, you're experiencing something somebody has never experienced before, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And I think that may happen. I don't know, can't prove it, but
yeah.
No.
When we went to Eastern States, somebody took all the baggage.
You really didn't
It
have
was like an
anything.
airport that wasn't open.
The only thing that happened was like a couple of blips on a REM pod, and that was it. It was nothing.
But we're very swift to say on top of that we know that like we wouldn't say, oh, that place is BS, it's not haunted, because no, most of the people we hear have experiences there that far exceed what would happen for us. So we understand that was our one time there.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. People think they watch all these TV shows and think, oh, there's so much stuff. Man, I've been on shows, I've investigated. You might, as you know, you investigate. You might watch film for 10 hours and not have nothing. You know, they don't jump when you want them to jump.
Right.
No, right.
But with a lot of years experience, you can kind of narrow it down to certain times and certain things. You can kind of raise the odds of maybe catching something. But other than that, you never know.
Yeah. Not true.
Yeah, it's a factor outside of anyone's control. It either happens when it happens, right? You may want it to happen. There's no control over it on our part. So.
How many times there was a few times we went into the Phelps Dodge Hospital and the four of us were investigating. It was like, God, I'm not feeling anything. I'm not getting anything. This place is literally dead tonight, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended, but
some
and then
of
we
those
get home and listen to the recorder, and it was like, Jesus, that was the most active.
right evidence after evidence after evidence on nights you're like, and nothing happened.
Yeah, but during the investigation, hell, we could have took a nap. It was like,
exactly.
Yeah. And, you know, people, too, always talk about equipment, which I have nothing against equipment. I use it. But sometimes the best piece of equipment is your own body, honestly. Seriously, for me, anyway. You wouldn't believe it, because sometimes you can just feel these things. It's palpable. I've been driving before, just taking a country drive and coming to an old Victorian farmhouse, and it's like I can feel it. You can it's like pulsating.
Yeah.
That's how we found the Montgomery house.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people, that's good advice. I think a lot of people who, as we classify as open-minded, will allow themselves to feel those things, or at least to tune in. And for other people, they don't give themselves intellectual permission to experience things beyond, instrumentation. For some reason, maybe they'll trust more because they feel that it's objective, when it's not, because you're subjectively interpreting the data. But they don't let themselves, like, they're not, maybe it's like a preconceived belief before they get there. But we always say, like, the intellect is the bouncer to the heart. Like, you feel things, allow yourself to experience and feel those things.
Yeah. And there's a lot. Listen, there's spirits around, I think, all the time, 24/7. Honestly, I can go to a certain store. It starts with a W, and I'm telling you, I can feel spirits just going in there. I don't know if they're following people around or just hanging out, but sometimes you can just feel them. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah. You know that happened to me in Walt Disney World.
In Disney World?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It was in oh my God, in the walk. Was it the walk? Oh my God, I can't remember which, because I'm so bad with directions and stuff. But it was
She's bad with directions. When we were carrying equipment out to the car from the hotel, there's only two ways you can go. We came in and out. We loaded our stuff in, and she stopped carrying it back, and she was calling my phone. She goes, I don't know where the car is.
Is it City Walk is Universal Studios?
Yes.
What's the other one? Disney?
Downtown Disney?
I think it was in Downtown Disney.
Oh yeah.
And I walked a certain area, and all of a sudden, it was like I would have passed out. It was this heavy pressure that I said, whoa. I said, something happened here, or something's here, but this is weird. And
You should actually look it up. You should actually look it up. Downtown Disney World is it's known to be haunted. Yeah,
I did look it up, but to say sometimes you feel it.
But
you have to allow yourself.
That diversity exists. Like I saw Raul from Tower a minute ago posted that he had that hot and cold experience at Hinsdale, and Hinsdale is notoriously active. Yeah, there you go. And so to have a blank slate at a place like that speaks to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a good question for the doctor.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Listen, you never know where you're going to find spirits. That's the thing, honestly. And people buy. Listen, I used to help a lot of people. They would buy an antique. Wouldn't even be an antique. Spirits can attach to objects. Can't prove that thing, but I'm telling you, people have brought things in their house. The next thing they know, they've got things going on. The only thing they did different was bring something in the house, remove it, and it goes away. So, can you prove it? But, their life was much happier after the object was removed, as Johnny Zaffis used to do himself.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So Todd and Carmela want to know, do you think those that have a hard time opening up or feeling things actually are open for a split second when they actually hear a disembodied voice?
Not necessarily, I don't think.
I've heard
both.
Yeah, I've heard some disembodied voices. I tell you, when you hear them, they're very shocking. I've heard a few in my life. Matter of fact, one time, about 20 years ago, I had split up with my wife at the time, and so it's been a few months. So this lady, she said that I knew, she lived up the street. She says, "Hey, I want to take you out." I said, "Oh, okay, sure." She said, "There's a haunted." Yeah, okay, and she knew what I did. She said, "I want to take you to this haunted place. You can look it up. It's in Dayton, Ohio. They call it either Witch's Castle or Frankenstein Castle. It's this old stone, looks like it's a round thing like this. Looks like the corner of a castle is what it looks like. It's kind of on the edge of town in the woods." So we get there, and it's just getting dark. I walk up the place. She's behind me, and we just get up there, and out of nowhere, disembodied voice. There's nobody there but us. This voice says, "Get out," like real guttural, like "Get out." I can't even do it. It was so deep. And I was like, "Whoa!" I turned around to tell her, "Did you hear that?" She was spinning out, tires gone. She'd done left me. Yeah, that's a true story. She left me. I had to walk home from that place after she left me. There was something. Get out, I was like, what is going on here?
That is hysterical.
Oh my.
It's a dating app, gamesetmatch.com.
Gameset.
I didn't get. She didn't even tell me. She must have heard it because them tires were spinning on that pea gravel. She was gone.
That's funny.
See, I think that okay, something happens, obviously. So if you're a skeptic or someone that's not that open, something obviously happens in order for them to be able to see something or hear something. And how can we describe that? I guess you can use the word open. Maybe something happens that opens something up. I mean, but obviously something happens.
Yeah, I think the only, and I agree with everything you said, Lourdes. The only differentiation I would think that I would make between someone like Chris and Audra, or even you at times, Lourdes, who has the ability to pull it from, be porous enough to bring it in, to get sensations and feelings and imagery. That to me is the openness that we were referring to. Whereas in the case of direct voice, now you're talking physical sound waves that the human body can hear. So to me, it's a difference between like them sending Chris a message or Audra a message, which doesn't require changes to the physical environment, whereas a direct voice is an absolute sound wave going through the atmosphere that anybody with human ears can hear. So I think that probably, maybe when they do that, they know, okay, these people aren't picking up anything. We got to try something else. It's a waste of time. But for people like Sheree and I, that's why we build equipment, because we don't have those abilities. If we do, we're unaware of it and haven't put enough time in to even try. So
we have abilities, but it's different abilities.
Correct.
Well, in disembodied voices, I've heard a few, but that one, and there was one other I can remember very well. The other one was a few years ago. It was it's still an active firehouse, volunteer firehouse in West Virginia. And it was on the weekend, and the firemen weren't going to be there. So me and this other guy we was going to go there. We was going to investigate some woods. That he knew the fireman. He said, "You guys can just stay in there. Nobody's will be there." He said, "We think it's haunted too." And he was like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." So anyway, he didn't think nothing of it. So he says, there's a restroom, but the restroom was locked, and it was one of those kind of doors that you either had to have a key on the outside to unlock it, or if you was an inside, you turn a little knob, you can unlock it. Okay, but it was locked. So anyway, he says, I'm going to go up to the store, be back 10, 15 minutes. I'll be there by myself. I said, okay, no biggie. So he's gone. About 10 minutes later, I hear this disembodied voice. I mean, like somebody was standing right here, said, is that your car? And I was like, I jumped because I thought he'd snuck in on me, you know, and was trying to spook me. There was nobody around. Nobody in the whole building. And it was plain as day. Like, is that your car? And I'm like, oh, you know. So then I was like, boy, I'm like, I'm going to go to the bathroom after that. So I go to that bathroom. I was thinking, oh, no, it's locked. You know, as I'm reaching for it, I'm thinking it's locked. The door opened on its own. Okay. This bathroom door opened on its own. It's locked. It should not open. And I heard noises in there as I'm going toward it also. I look in there, there's nothing in there. So there was no animals in there, how that door opened, I have no idea. When he got back, I told him everything that happened. He goes, why does everything happen when I leave? I was like, I don't know, but you should have stayed here. But we got some EVPs that night in there, and even in the woods there was some too. I don't know what's going on. It was along the river, but I think that place just had a lot of history of some battles and some stuff going on the land. You know what I mean?
And then you add the moving water to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Ohio River. Yeah, it's big.
So I have an important question. Did you get to use the bathroom?
Yeah. I got to use it after the ghost opened it up for me. It was nice of him.
The bigger question is did the spirit wash its hands before it left?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Well, the toilet does have a sensor on it to flush. So.
Yeah, that got my attention real quick when that door opened. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Right after the urinal. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Quick shout out to, because we have Reeve from the Philippines, Arjun Sardi, who's, I think she's in I forget where she's from, but she's over on the Asian continent. Rachel Hughes from the UK, the Boo Brothers Lee also from the UK watching. So our audience is coming from more than just the States, and for that we are very, very grateful, and it's very nice to see all of you show up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. EVP's International, y'all.
Yeah, and a good show to come, because Dr. JC brings some interesting stuff to the table for us to talk about. So you show up.
Okay, Rick, we don't advocate that, but
Eyes in the road, please.
especially in the Philippines, it's dangerous enough without watching while you're driving.
A lot of stuff. Of 30 plus years, I've seen a lot of stuff, because here's the other thing. I kind of like specialize. So people or families or teens would call me in to, try to evict something that was like really bad. And when I say bad, I'm talking, if you could think of it, it was bad. Right. And so one time, my last 3 cases I did were probably the worst 3 of my life. They were just horrible. One of them was featured on a show. I don't know if it aired or not. It was on the show Haunting. A haunting, I think it was. So anyway, go to this house, and there was definitely something really bad there. I seen it with my own eyes, and the homeowner guy, he's seen it too, but he just seen the backside of it. But anyway, I got this thing figured it was cornered in the attic, and the attic was the only way to get in this attic. You had to go outside the house and get on a ladder and climb up a roof that had like a 45-degree pitch, right? And they had a piece of plywood. He had to take off the screw gun, and you go in. So anyway, we're up there. I thought for sure, something's going to push me off the roof. This is going to be a great night. I can just see it coming. So anyway, he takes it off. He says, don't worry. There's a light bulb in there when I'll turn on the light bulb. So he reaches to turn on the light bulb, and it's one of them strings you got to pull. So before he pulls the string, he doesn't even hold the string. The light bulb explodes, right? Okay, that right there is a red flag. When a light bulb explodes, it just exploded. He was like, oh, that's weird. You're like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, yeah, I didn't say nothing. He goes, don't worry, there's another one. So there's like 2x8s in this attic. You got to walk on it. You're going to end up down in the kitchen. You're going to fall through the sink, right? This is a horror show to all ground. I'm like, oh, man. So anyway, he gets back to the other light. He pulls on the light, and as soon as he turned this light on, it had like loose insulation in between these 4x8s. And when he turned it on, it was like a tornado. This thing had come up out of there, and when it came up, it like brought a little bit of that insulation up like a tornado, and it went down and out this, like where the roof comes over where the floor is, and went out. And he goes, "Holy cow, did you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I was hoping you didn't see the face because it looked like something with big spikes coming out. It was horrible looking. I seen it. He just seen the back of it. He didn't see the face, so he didn't have any nightmares. Because you can't unsee that stuff, right? So he just seen the back of it. He was freaking out. I'm like, don't freak out too bad. You're going to end up down in your kitchen, you know." So we get, yeah.
That's funny, yeah.
Oh, one false step and you're down. These are the hazards of investigating. People will tell you, you know, bed bugs and cockroaches and mold, black mold and asbestos and all the, you know, rotten floors and termites and you know,
tarantulas.
Yeah, there's tarantulas.
Scorpions.
Yeah.
Snakes, you name it. I've seen it all. You never know. So anyway, we got that out of there. But I was there for like 26 hours getting rid of that stuff. There was a lot going on in that house. It was just horrible. And that was a family that lived in that house for 20 years, no problems. All of a sudden, one day they had problems. For 5 straight years, they had 3 teams in there and 2 priests. In 5 years, couldn't get rid of it. And what had happened? Their son's kind of autistic. He's an older. He's a grown adult, but he's got, like, you know, the mind of maybe a 12-year-old autistic. And he'd play online games. And there's a lot of bad people online, and they were having him do some incantations and saying rituals and stuff out loud, and he was invoking and writing things in his life that he didn't know no better. You know, there's a lot of bad people. This is what happened, but it took a lot of detective work to figure this out. You know, because I had to do a lot of questioning. We finally figured out what caused, because, you know, all of a sudden now 20 years, you're not just going to have these horrendous hauntings. I mean, horrible stuff. You know, crucifixes flying off the floor, off the wall, and going 20 feet across the floor. It was mimicking their pet dog. It was mimicking the wife, their child, the husband, everything. You can name it. It happened in this house. Okay, so finally we figured it out. We got rid of this thing, but it took a lot out of me and the team. If I didn't have a team there helping me, we'd been in trouble. But there was a lot going on there. And that perfect example. You know, the kid's got a heart of a gold. He don't know no better, but somebody took advantage of him, having him say these things, was inviting these horrible things into their life. And then once you invite something in, whether unbeknownst to yourself or not, it's hard to get rid of that stuff, man. It's tough.
Wow. You mentioned that other teams and individuals, priests, have been in and out of there. In your experience, because you help people, and it seems like that has at least some emphasis on residential, what are some of, at least one maybe, miscues that you find teams that go into residencies to do something consistently, where if you put data together, you would see like this is like a common 1, 2, or 3 things that they do that don't help?
The toughest thing is a lot of these TV shows people get these ideas. We'll start a team, we'll do it, we'll have fun, and honestly, the paranormal can be like drugs, man. It can be very addictive to people. Honestly, it can be very addictive. I could take it or walk away from it, but some people it's very addictive. And anything that you do too much of, regardless of what it is not good for you. It will catch up to you eventually. And then a lot of teams, they don't have a lot of experience. So somebody's calling a team that doesn't have a lot of experience. They're having them come in to help them, and maybe they haven't dealt with really dark stuff. Or maybe they haven't studied these things, and you start poking a bear, it'll poke you back, man. I've had to help teams because, you know, they weren't experienced, and it followed them home, start messing with their dogs and their pets and their family and their jobs, and that stuff's not fun. Listen, paranormal is no joke. It can be serious at times.
People don't realize it. It doesn't happen often, really, because it doesn't, but it does happen. It's not a joke, and because when it does happen, you are not going to be happy. It's not fun.
So ill prepared is what you're saying, and I would agree.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Just not prepared, you know, because everybody wants to help somebody, but the thing is, if you don't have enough experience or studied enough up on it, you can make things worse. Because like that family I just told you I helped, they had 3 teams coming and 2 priests, and every time they left, about 2 weeks later, it got worse because they were poking and made it mad, you know. And the thing is, they had what you would call, you can't prove this stuff, but they had what you call spiritual portals there, because they were by him reciting certain things that kind of open things up, a portal there. Well, here's the thing: if you got a spiritual portal in your home, and I don't care if you can bring the Pope himself in, he's going to clear the house, but he's not trained to find and close portals. He don't do that stuff. It's just something that's not in his wheelhouse. He doesn't do it. Yeah, he can exercise, get things out of there, but he's not going to find or close a spirit portal. And if you don't do that, that highway's still open, and 2 weeks later, things still keep coming back in. You're right back to ground zero.
Yeah, I think you bring up so many great points with that. I think that our paranormal culture has manufactured this desire or need for accolades and achievements, regardless of having any kind of a foundational backing, whether it's through studies, through empirical experience, through learning from other people. Like it's something. Feathers and caps are most important. Like just how I did this. I helped this people. I'm on the poster for this event. I'm being advertised for this, and it's not about what those things mean. It's about just having those things. It's having feathers in the cap, but not knowing what the feathers actually are symbolic of, right? And I think that would be one of the reasons that would happen is that everybody wants to just rush in and do something. They want to operate on a level without, like, I wouldn't buy a shoulder pads and a helmet and call the NFL and go, I'm ready.
Yeah, right. Right. And even I studied for years this stuff, and then even when I started helping people, I didn't get online or nothing for a long time. The only reason I did finally, I battled with it for years. The only reason I did it, I knew I could reach and maybe help more people online eventually, so that's why I did it. But I didn't accolades and all that stuff. When you start getting your ego involved, then your ability to help people, honestly, I think goes down.
Yes.
So James, I have a question. Go ahead. James, I have a question. So what's the difference between investigation before at your time, like 30 years ago, to present?
Yeah, that's a good question. Things have changed a lot. First of all, 30 years ago, back in the 80s, when I started doing it, and I did things you should not do. First of all, I investigated by myself, which I don't suggest nobody do that. Okay. But I used to do it. So I wouldn't do that. But things have changed because now it seems like everybody's psychic. Years ago, nobody.
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you notice that? Did you notice that? I do.
Everybody's psychic now. And listen, I've been seeing spirits since I didn't tell nobody. I kept that stuff on the download for years, and because things have changed. If you told somebody, oh, I think I just seen a spirit, they'd look at you cross-eyed, like, what's wrong with you?
That's so funny. Don't you think that's also culturally manufactured because of the media celebritizing of things? Because shows would cast people. They go, this is the tech guy. But that guy would be stifled by an Etch-a-Sketch. That's not a tech guy.
This is the tech guy. What's he do? He carries all the shit in.
Yeah. It's true. Things have changed so much in the last 30 years. It's mind-boggling. And a lot of it is, and I've been on a couple of these shows, it's these TV shows. They have directed the narrative of the way that people think and about the paranormal and what they do. And that doesn't always mesh well with reality, honestly.
Right. Not at all.
And you can get certification online to be
just about anything.
Everything. Yeah.
And it's funny that you use that word because these shows are classified as reality shows, aren't they?
No, very good. Yeah. That's such a brilliant point.
And so people think it's like all this stuff is like the way it is on TV.
So if we take a step back,
I gotta excuse myself.
Yeah, please leave. I'm kidding. If you look at how the culture in the field has come, and you've been in it a long time, so you know better than all of us. But the institutions of religion, like the Catholic Church, has protocols and steps to vet the authenticity of an exorcism and things to go through before they get to that point. So if you have that kind of a problem, you think you need an exorcism, you have this rigorous process to go through in order to get to where the help may eventually be. Or you can call your friendly neighborhood YouTuber who dances with demons every 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Very true.
There's a catch.
Read the book.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a catch-22 there on both fronts. Number one, Some people, if you had to wait 2 weeks to a month before they analyze and do investigation, figure out you might need help, you could be dead by then.
Right.
That's one catch-22. The other catch-22 is this stuff's no joke. You need to do this stuff. But if you got somebody that can do it individually, that doesn't have to go through a system or a corporation, and they're qualified, that's great. But like you said, there's a lot of these YouTubers out there that will do it. They just want to get some clicks. And listen, they're jumping in the deep end of the pool along with everybody else. And the person that's going to pay for it is the person who's asking for the help, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, how ironic, right?
Yeah. Well, part of the problem is it's so sensationalized now that you've got those people out there going, dude, that would be so cool. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that, you know, some of the stuff you see on TV is not necessarily a joke.
No.
This is actually more real than you guys expect it to be. And we talk to people, ask us all the time, what's the best piece of advice you ever get? And what I tell people is, if you're not prepared to see something that's going to scare the shit out of you, then don't do it.
Right.
Because you're gonna get into it deep enough. At some point, you're gonna see something that's gonna make you cry, mama.
Yeah. And here's the other thing: if you're calling somebody to come in and help you, you've got to be fearless. Like, you wouldn't go to a doctor that is afraid of blood or would pass out on the side of blood, right? So if you're calling somebody that is going to be scared of everything they see, how the heck can they help you?
I know.
Right.
It's true though.
No, and I think the YouTubers are not helping, or they're not even pretending to help people. They're just experiencing them all the time.
Yeah. And that's where we are in the state of today. You know, everybody wants to get their clicks or the YouTube views up, and that's great, but you've got to watch how you do it especially with the paranormal. You just do.
Yeah,
true.
Dr. J actually sent in some photos from some of his investigations. You guys all want to look at them?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, photos with Chris Allgood. Who's saying no to that?
So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and share them. We can talk throughout these because these are videos. So tell us what this is, Dr. J.
Okay, that is a close-up of an orb that I've actually seen with my eyes. Now, orbs is a whole nother. You want to get an argument? Just tell people orbs or humidity, bugs, and dust, and people will fight you for these things. But I'm telling you,
that's true.
Let me put it like this: in my world, real orbs you can see with your naked eye, and most of them they undulate and they give out a light from within themselves. It's hard to explain, but that was a close-up of one from a still shot from a video. And it was kind of green colored, which was weird. So anyway, that's what that's from.
That's cool, and the way you described it was I thought awesome, because I think it becomes almost trendy to dismiss them, and I think in some instances they are dismissible, but just like everything else, with a blanket statement, you cannot wipe the slate clean and go, none of this stuff is relevant. There are instances like this that are very difficult to explain.
Yeah, and listen, if you really want to see a real orb, there's a episode with Nick Groff and Katrina Wiedemann.
Mm-hmm.
They're at Bobby Mackey's in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
They caught a real one on video, and it's just like I said, it's undulating. You could tell a real one from. If you can't see with your naked eye, it's not. It's dust or it's humidity in the air. It's something else. Honestly.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
It is great.
It almost looks like a close up under a microscope of like a cell.
It does.
Yeah, that's what
I literally said the same thing. I'm like, it looks like an embryo.
Yeah.
Well, if you know anything about cells underneath the microscope, is there's an outer wall that holds. I don't know what the term is for the inner stuff, but it's literally the energy, the
like the nucleus or something, right?
Exactly, of the cell. You can see that here. You can see the outlying,
like the membrane.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is it cytoplasm?
And anybody who knows physical principles of energy, the easiest shape for energy to take is round, is a ball, is a sphere. Correct.
Yep.
Now, if you were to turn this one like a whitish yellow color, This is almost similar to what we caught at Tala going down the hallway, the one that was pulsing and then turned and went out the doorway. Same shape, because when I zoomed in on it, when I freeze framed it on the video, same shape, same nucleus type situation here with the membrane. It didn't quite look like an embryo in it. That's kind of creepy.
It
But
does what it looks like to me.
I'm just going, it's an ultrasound. It's a boy.
It looks like
Yeah.
You can see it right here. It's a boy.
I have a picture also. I captured that orb at San Carlos, but the orb that I captured, it has a face in it.
Oh, nice.
I've seen those
But
before.
yeah,
Even if you go through pictures that people post on the internet saying orbs, and then granted, I agree with Ron completely. There's a lot of stuff out there that's just dust, but does that completely defeat the fact that this really could exist? No, it could. It absolutely could. But even if you go through those photos on the internet, you will see ones that clearly show what looks like a face of a man or a woman or a child, and they're very prevalent like that.
Yep.
Now, while we're on orbs, let's go to this one, Dr. J. Talk about this one.
Yep. Okay, that one is in the attic at the Bel Air house. I'm sitting there, as you can see me, on the couch. Okay, and we got a video running, and that is an orb. You can see the streak that is leaving. You can barely see the streak that is coming from the ceiling down. I caught it with my eyes. The video, we got it on camera, thank goodness. And it was undulating and kind of like pulsating, and it came straight down and it left like a streak behind it. It was freaky looking.
You can see it's got a trail behind it.
Yeah, it
Like
was
a
freaky.
star.
That's either an orb or somebody's about to get knocked out with some plaster.
Listen, that attic in a Bel Air house can be freaky, and it happened right there. Boom. Yep.
What's even more weird is that black circle around it. It's
Yeah. 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 That was freaky.
That's a protective shield.
Yeah.
Who's the guy down here that has no clue what the hell's going on?
That's me. I'm sitting there, right?
Oh, is that you?
That's me. I caught it on my peripheral vision. Like right after that, I looked up and seen it, and I said to the lady downstairs, I said, "Tell me you got that on the film." She said, "Yeah, it's unbelievable."
That is cool.
Wow.
that's a good question, Richard.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
But it was one of them old cameras they were using to investigate, so that was about as good a picture as you could get from it. You know?
That's still pretty cool.
The good part was you can see that the trail was leaving. You know, that was wild.
Well, here's what's even more interesting is you see that the lamp is casting a shadow.
Yeah.
This is not.
No, and it was dark
Nothing
and
here at all. Yeah.
it was dark and kind of dark in that attic. We didn't have lights on in there.
So, judging by the shadow of the lamp, whoever took the picture was standing off to this corner here.
Yeah,
And it's kind of an upward shot of the flash.
yeah.
So, this should have casted a shadow up into this area onto the ceiling, and it's not.
Nope.
Yeah. And it's not any shape that would be relatable to like a bug or an insect or anything by any means. And that's a big ass bug if it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It was about the size of a baseball.
Oh, wow. That big, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that would be relatable would be a bat, but it wouldn't reflect like that, and you'd see a set of wings somewhere, but no, you don't see that.
And it was moving real slow. It was just maybe like just real slow. It wasn't fast at all.
That's pretty cool. All right, talk to us about this one.
Okay, that one. Something followed somebody I know home. Followed them home from work, of all places. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there. I would go let their dog out at lunchtime, and I'm sitting there, me and another person at the kitchen table. It's about 2 p.m. Okay, and I'm telling you what. I heard, imagine taking your hand and this wall behind me and smacking as hard as you can, right? I jump up out of the chair. I'm like, what? I thought my brother-in-law came home and was sneaking up on me and scared me. I turned around. I jumped out. I mean, it spooked me bad, you know. It's like, wham. Nothing. There's nobody around or nothing. I was like, okay, something's going on here. Okay, I get it. And so the person, I asked him, you notice anything? He said, yeah, something's going on in my house all of a sudden. So I took a bunch of pictures. I walked around, and in the basement, I could feel it. And I felt something between the washer and dryer. I took a picture, and you can see like energy. See the energy between there? It looks like a pumpkin face or something. It was like circulating, like some kind of energy. It was there. You can see it. And that's what it was. So I kind of, I kind of sent them on their way back out of there.
Somebody's saying.
Yeah, speak. Microphone's right here.
I know. I was just saying it almost also, I see the pumpkin face that you're talking about, but it almost looks like somebody's turned around and hunched over, and you can just kind of see the top of their head and the back. And
yeah, that's what I thought. To me, it looked like a spirit trying to hide between the washer and the dryer. I thought it was a unique picture. Anyway, I got him out of the house. Everything was quiet after that, but it was just one of them. He wasn't a bad guy or nothing. Just, it just followed somebody home and,
lost.
Yeah. They were just
So
Yeah.
now we all know who takes that one sock.
Yeah.
This son of a bitch crouched right here in between the washer and dryer.
Well, that makes perfect sense because they have a couple of mine just from. Give them back.
That's funny.
Yep.
All right, so now let's talk about eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Trying to make me dizzy.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, that one again. This was a whole nother night about a year later in the Bel Air house attic again. And if you notice, it looks like there's a spirit on my lap.
Yeah.
It looks like an upside down baby to me.
Goodness, yeah.
Seriously, see the head,
I know.
arms, the
There's-
leg, the
Yeah, I can
foot.
see it.
See the foot?
Yeah. Now here's the weird part. There's nothing on my lap, but here's the weird part. My friend Melissa, she had one SLS. You know what those are, right? That it's stick figures. It gets on the film if there's supposed to be a spirit there. Well, she was saying, looks like there's a spirit on your lap, and at the same time, I'm feeling like cold right on my lap, and she took a picture, and it looks like something on my lap.
Yeah.
That is way cool. Where was this at again?
Bel Air house attic is about a year later from that ward. Yep.
Wow. That is way cool.
That is way cool. That's
Audra
interesting.
sees a dog. I see an upside down baby.
Yeah.
It's definitely something there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's something there.
Yeah, there's some kind of energy there for sure. I could feel it.
Mhm.
Or it was starting to manifest or something, and it's just a blob of.
Always something going on in that attic when I go up there. Always something.
Huh.
It almost looks like there might be something back here too, but that might just be distortion and pixelations.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a question, James. What kind of couch is that? It looks like?
Yeah, what are you sitting on?
Yeah, it looks like to me it's like the armchair, like with the molding on the side.
That is a little like a two-person love seat that I'm sitting on.
Because you can see on the top of his head like this. It's kind of like vintage couch love seat.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Victorian. Yeah.
Victorian, yeah.
That
And
might have been the reproduction Tiffany lamp back there behind me.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
And this is something we found in the barn, y'all. We needed a coffee table.
Yeah.
Found some 2x6s, threw that shit together. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm saving the one for last. I like this one. Talk about this one.
Okay.
Ooh.
That one there, let's see, October 18th of 2018 at 10:30 at night in Medina, Ohio, cemetery right in the middle of town. There was a ghost walk earlier. I knew the lady was walking it. It ended at 10. I thought I'd hang around a little bit because supposedly there was a spirit of a caretaker that still hung out in this cemetery. So I thought I'm going to hang out a while, see if I can catch some evidence. So I kind of seen him. I thought I'm seeing him by this tree. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take 3 quick pictures, stand still, boom, 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 boom. Took 3 in a row. Didn't think nothing of it. I go home, I look at them, and the middle one, that was pretty much what best picture of a spirit ever caught.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like,
awesome.
Mary Beth.
Yeah, this guy died in the blizzard of '73. And still standing there today.
I believe the history showed it was a caretaker of that cemetery in the 1800s, late 1800s.
Oh, wow. He's a big dude.
And there was nobody in that cemetery. It was like a ghost town, right in the middle of town. Nothing around there, nothing. No people, no nothing. And I was blown away when I seen it. It wasn't in the first or third picture, but the middle picture.
There's a lot of those cemeteries in Ohio. What's up with you Ohio people and putting shit out in the middle of nowhere?
I know it.
Where are you from, Dr. J?
I'm in Ohio. Yeah.
You're in Ohio? Which part?
Near Canton.
Okay.
Just south of Canton.
Audra's parents live in Perrysburg, just outside of Toledo.
Yeah.
Okay, that's way up.
We're up in Ohio.
We're up there 2-3 times a year.
Northwest. Yep.
Mhm.
Now this one.
Yep.
This is your last one. I saved this one for last.
What do you see? Tell me what you see before I describe it.
I see a woman's face.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, very distorted, but I definitely see a woman's face.
Yes, I see it too.
And she's got messed up hair. Yep.
Jawline. You can't even see her jawline.
Jawline, lips, nose, eyebrows.
That's interesting.
I see Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see somebody.
Right before
You see the
Was that
hair?
I see
here?
Bigfoot. I'm sorry.
No, she's pretty. No,
She has
lips.
peanut butter hair.
You are clearly seeing different things.
Tony, I see Bigfoot. She's pretty.
That's what I'm like. We're clearly seeing different things.
But then I see a baby face over here.
That picture there I caught in 2019 in Gretchen's Lock, which is in East Liverpool, Ohio. There's an old mill that's about 200 years old. It's defunct, nothing in it. Me and 3 other people was in there investigating. I thought I seen a spirit behind this beam, like peeking out. Thinking, maybe I'm just seeing things. But when I see things like that, or I think maybe my eyes playing tricks with me, I just take 3 pictures in a row. Again, that was on one of the pictures. All I did was add a little contrast to bring it out a little bit more, but that was on the picture.
Yeah, she looks like she's in despair, sad.
Yes.
Yeah, and I did some history there. There was a couple deaths there. One of them was a poisoning, a jealous kind of a love triangle poisoning.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Oh.
Looks like the mask from Mask.
Yeah.
It does.
The mask from
It
Mask.
does.
With Jim Carrey?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Literally.
I don't know. That may be pixelation, I think. Maybe. I don't know. But that face.
Yeah, this is
she's
pretty
very
distinct.
prominent.
And you can actually see like a
Yeah.
hair coming across
Yeah.
her face right here.
Yeah, that's what I see too. Yep.
Yeah, we could probably dig deeper into the stuff in the background, but that's probably just distortion, and we're getting pareidolia there. But this is not.
No.
Yeah, outline the nose and the eye sockets as you're seeing it, because I think since we're all on the same page.
Right here.
Yeah.
So that's the face, right? So where's the eyes,
Right here.
and where's the other, right? And then where's the nose?
Nose is right here. There's a nostril right there.
Yeah, and the mouth.
Right here.
Yep.
All right. That's
Lower lip, upper lip, and then the chin is right here.
We're on the same page. It almost looks like a pointy ear on that one side too, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, it really does. Yeah, it does.
Over here?
No, up here. Well,
Here, like a
And
fairy.
I agree with Peg.
Oh.
Joy. I think what
Yeah.
Peg says also
Yeah,
is
her
what I
eyes,
see. Her eyes
her eyes
closed.
closed.
Her eyes are closed.
Yeah, her eyes
Yeah,
are
her eyes
closed.
are closed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that does, I mean, I don't know if that's pixelation, but it definitely looks like an elf's ear. It
Yeah.
does.
I just said the same thing, Laura. So like she's like a fairy. She's
Well,
got a fairy ear.
Yeah, and if you look really close, the portions of her face are off. Like her
Yeah.
forehead is really large.
Yep.
Yeah.
Her nose looks like it has a protrusion right here, like a lump. Then it indents here. It comes back out, and then the lower lip seems awful large along with the chin.
Right. This could be distortion that's part of the process of the modulation to be able to see it.
Yeah.
In
Right.
visual ITC, which was done with the video feedback loop, which known as the Schreiber method from Klaus Schreiber, a lot of times those kind of distortions would happen. And when direct radio voice pioneer Friedrich Jurgensen passed, the time of his funeral, his friends that lived a couple 240 miles away, their TV switched on, and it switched to a static white noise snow. And then all of a sudden from that emerged a picture, and it's available to look online, of Friedrich Jurgensen. And it looks exactly like him, except like the ears are longer. And now people get older, their ears maybe hang more. So it had some expected kind of distortions, but they were a little bit much.
It was, yeah, no, they were
very much a likeness of him. Like you go, that's him. But there were some things that were not in normal proportion. I think that may be part of the process when it gets modulated to where we somehow capture it or see it. Because that's what I think is happening in this a little bit with what you just described.
Right. Yeah. Interesting, though. Definitely interesting. What's even more interesting is if you look at it on the screen on StreamYard compared to, I mean, we're looking at it this size here on my other screen, but seeing it here on the screen on StreamYard, it's even more clear and not as distorted.
Yeah, it's
You
definitely more
can see her neck. I think you can see her neck. I see her neck. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Mortis, do you see a gentleman in the background, like a shadow?
I think I was reading a little too, though.
Yeah, no, I don't see that. I don't. To the left or the right of her?
Just like literally in the back. So like this is the brim. There's a hat. There's like a cape that kind of like it's like just behind her though.
I think I'm just getting a read off of it too.
I don't know.
Oh, I kind of see it. Yeah. I mean, it could be, look, she's talking about here. You see that?
Yeah.
See, it's interesting because it can be, I can see it, but I'm not sure if it's pixelation too.
Yeah. But it just looks like there's two, like he's in back and she's like right in front.
Yeah, I see it. I see it now. I had to like really, but I do see it. I see the hat, and because it looks more like she looks more like an apparition, and he looks more of like a shadow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over her. Yeah. I do see that.
Interesting.
It's different. I mean, if it's pareidolia, it's a good pareidolia because, but to me, when I saw that face, I was like, "Wow, that's a face."
No, I don't believe.
No, I think
the face for sure.
Pareidolia. I think that's a freaking face. But the other stuff like the ear, like it looks like an ear, but I'm not sure. And then the shadow, the same thing. I see it, but I don't know because it could be part of her hair.
Right.
Well, okay, so let's get a little more detailed and pull all pareidolia out of it. Is the skin tone in the face is completely different than the washout pixelations all up here.
Plus, you got the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and the chin.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if you take the facial features, where you see the brightness of the skin tone is basically bone structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To where up here it's just washed out pixelation. But
And
here you're actually getting bone structure in the coloration of the photo, which takes the pareidolia out of it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't disagree that this absolutely looks like a face. Absolutely. But the characteristics being seen as told to us to be mistaken, that is the pareidolia. That would be their argument, is that the things that you're describing as facial characteristics are the pareidolia. I don't think that's what's happening here, but just because it has those characteristics doesn't disqualify it from that. But I don't think that this is pareidolia.
No, me neither.
No. The bigger way to disprove the pareidolia is how many people in the chat saw the face before we started pointing it out.
Right.
And you can see her emotion, like, and we all see it, right? Doesn't she look sad? And I think she looks sad or in despair. I don't know. In deep thought, something you can see.
Yeah.
And the only reason I took the picture is because I thought I saw a spirit peeking out from behind a beam. So I thought, I'm going to whip off 3 of them real quick. I always do that. Used to,
Yeah, so you got everybody saying we saw it, we saw it, we saw it, we saw it, which prior to us pointing it out, you get that big of a group. I mean, it's like the Staticom when they say it's warbles.
Right.
And everybody's seeing and hearing the same thing. How do you attribute it to that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Fallibility and sensory processing. But you know, and that blade cuts both ways too, right? When all of us see this, they'll go, "Well, it's a mass delusion. You're all experiencing pareidolia." But when skeptically a bunch of people agree that it's not something, then somehow those numbers collectively, as a consensus, matter. And I think that's not fair to the paranormal. I think you can't say a consensus counts in debunkery, but it doesn't count in experience.
Right.
Now, to go along with that picture, we've got several EVPs inside that old building, and people have seen spirits in there. And there was 3 of us that day with me, and we saw what we thought was a spirit. Green.
But we also talk about timing and relevance. You captured a photo of a woman. Did you capture EVPs of a woman?
Yeah, that was. It was always EVPs of a woman every year we go to investigate. Always been a woman.
Very cool.
Whether it's the same woman or not, I don't know. But we've always.
We can't prove that. But
Yeah.
that is all the pictures that Dr. J sent.
I used to have a lot more, but over the years, a few ex-girlfriends got kind of spiteful and telephones blowing up and dying, and so I lost a lot of stuff over the years. But those weren't.
Goodness.
Old girlfriends got spiteful. What, they got jealous of paranormal female pictures?
No. Yeah, right.
What the hell?
I know. I've lost so much stuff over the years. It's makes you sick. But those were some of the better ones anyway that I've ever got. But and speaking of paranormal, of all the things I've seen in my lifetime, shadow people I've seen more than anything by 100-fold.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. And I've seen shadow people. I've been driving on country roads, not even going fishing or going home from hunting or just going home from something, and seeing them walk across the road or just all over the place. See them in haunted places. Just I don't know what it is with shadow people. I've seen a lot of them in my day.
I gotta tell you guys, before Audra and I started dating, I had never been to Ohio in my lifetime. Right? No, most people are trying to leave Ohio, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, so Audra and I started dating, and we went back to visit, and we started talking about haunted locations because that's what I do, and I got our Audra involved in it. I've been doing it most of my life, and we started going to haunted locations in Ohio. And I got to tell you right now, you would not think that a place as flat as Ohio.
Well, see,
would have so much stuff, but they do have quite a few. I mean, a ton.
Here's the thing about Ohio, Chris. Ohio is like 3 different states. If you get east of Columbus, where I live, you got Little Appalachian Mountain. It's completely different than the people on the west of Columbus because it's all flat. The people's different, landscape's different. Everything's different, completely different, honestly. And the closer you get to the Ohio River, there's a lot of haunted places. Bel Air House is right on the river, Ohio River.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flat drive. Yeah. Once you leave Southern Ohio, heading up towards Toledo, man, you get to Columbus and
it's flat. Yeah,
it's flat. But you wouldn't. Maybe that's why people try so hard to move out of Ohio, because they know if they die, they're going to be stuck there wandering those flatlands.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Listen, there's a lot of haunted places. If you figure Ohio is kind of like in the middle of the country, and where did most people go? They went west. Well, on the way, it's kind of a third of the way to the west. A lot of people died on these routes in the 1700s.
Yeah,
there's a lot of battles between pioneers and Native Americans, and Native Americans used to fight each other. I mean, it was a lot of bloodshed. I can't tell you how many times I'd help people with paranormal problems. They bought a brand new house, a house maybe just built. Why is it haunted? It's not the house, it's the land, man. The land, you don't know how much history it can be on that land of bloodshed.
Right.
So true.
All right, Dr. J, we have reached the point in the show that we call shameless plugs. And when we say shameless, we're talking shameless.
Go all out.
Go all out. Don't hold anything back. Tell everybody about your podcast, where they can find you, when it's on, where they can find you, what parts of Ohio you're in, where they can come see it and maybe do some investigating with you or touch base with you.
Well, I am in Dover, Ohio, which is just south of Canton. Easy. You can find me on Facebook, X, TikTok. Easy to find. Just punch up Dr. JC or James Creachbaum. You'll find me. Always investigating. My show is on Night Dreams Talk Radio Network. I'm the Monday host. It's on every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm on all the major apps, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn. You can catch me on there. I bring great guests on. Some of them are well known. Some are very well known. And we're always talking about paranormal or scary things. Like, matter of fact, my guest tomorrow night, Justin Burroughs, he grew up in a haunted house from age like 9 to 14, and he had horrific things happen. You got to tune in to find out, but I'll give you one tidbit. He woke up with his bed going up and down like this. That was his first paranormal experience, the first day, and it got worse from there. Okay. So, but yeah, I bring people when we talk about that. You can check out my website, jcthehitmanshow.com. Also, we have other great shows from Wednesday through Friday. Gary is the host of those, where he covers most of the UFO and cryptid type stuff. So we cover it all. We've had top names. You name the top names in the paranormal of any field. We probably had them on one time or another. So that's about it.
Awesome. We appreciate you coming on and sharing your pictures with us and talking about the paranormal with us. Yeah. All right, guys. What does the EVPE team have coming up next week?
Next week, I don't have anything. Are we off next week? No. I don't even know.
We always have to look at the
calendar. When Rhonda noticed that we don't have anything, shit's over with. It's
what?
Do we have anything?
Thank you, Lee from Boo Brothers. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I mean, to quote our friend Anthony Seminelli, we don't know where we are.
No. But I thought we made plans for something, but no, we don't have anything.
No, we have an open weekend coming up, I think, this weekend. We
nice.
We'll do something. I know it feels like we're wrong when we don't have something. we miss something.
All right, Rathmans, what do you got coming up?
Well, lots of things, but we are going to consider next weekend free for us as well. Free to get things done in between another slew of events coming up. So.
Oh, our event in Sedona.
Oh, yes. Anybody in Arizona, if you haven't seen the postings, because I've been plastering them everywhere I can find to post them, but we are doing a live Staticom session. Come in, speak to the dead. I mean, I put that in quotes. We believe it's consciousness, but we're getting full sentence answers from Staticom. If you've never heard it before, it'll be at the Sundance Film Festival in Sedona on November 2nd. So grab a ticket. The link is there, and come up and have a listen for yourself. Depending on how big of a crowd, you'll probably get a chance to ask a question or two yourself and answers. So.
Nice.
Check that out. But,
don't forget to book online.
And that's next weekend, is it?
No, that's not till November.
Okay.
But the ads are up. November 2nd, Saturday.
Very cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, if you're around and you make that, I highly advise those in the Southwest to go out and have snacks and Staticom with those Rathmans.
Snackticom. Snackticom.
I almost called it that.
And
Snackticom.
Sedona is believed to have multiple vortexes.
And it's a beautiful area.
And it's a gorgeous area. So it would be a great place to see Staticom live. So
I think Mary Beth said that'd be a really long drive from Minnesota.
Yeah.
But planes can do it in 1/10 of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Audra and I won't be doing anything, guys. You probably won't see me for about a month. I will be traveling for work for the next 3 weeks, and then we'll have a couple weeks off at the beginning of November for EVPE. The Staticon team has some exciting stuff coming up. So the first couple weeks of November, we will not be live on the air, and then for the next 3 weeks, we will be. But Chris is going to Atlanta and then DC and then Nashville for work. So unfortunately, I won't be here for the show. But I will make sure that there's a show for you guys to see, and you'll get to see the rest of the EVPE team while I'm out. So I will be watching and saying hello, and somebody's got to take over the Stay Haunted.
Ron.
I'm giving you guys plenty of notice for the next 3 weeks. You need to write some shit up.
How about we call you up when it's time and you can just do it?
Just get on the phone,
Do it
Grace.
for-
Stay on it.
Do it from my phone from the Hilton. I'm coming to you live from the Hilton. If Chris was Stay
Can you
Haunted.
just come in for that?
If you guys want to, I'll send myself the link and I can jump in from my phone if you guys want me to.
There you go.
Yes.
I should be to the hotel by the time the show starts. So. But we'll definitely see you guys. I'll see you guys in a few weeks. But everybody else, thank you, Todd and Carmela. Oh, something really exciting that I really am pumped about right now that we just locked in while we were on the show. We will be doing Tala in May with Dos Cocos and Frankie Adeo.
Oh, that's nice. Yay.
Very cool.
Private
Yeah,
at
that's
Tala
cool.
in May with those guys. So that ought to be really good fun. We've been to Tala twice already. It never disappoints, and we get to actually investigate with Frankie Odeo for the first time. So that should be pretty cool.
First time.
That's going to be so
Yeah, that's a
cool.
fun
And of
experience.
Very
And it's
cool.
of course the Cocos. Everybody loves the Cocos. They're just
Absolutely.
phenomenal people. So we're excited to see them again, and we'll actually get to see them in November. They're coming down again to do the Montgomery House. So
I like that saying.
Yeah.
Quick, stay haunted and run.
There you go.
Haunted and run. I like
quick,
that.
stay haunted and run. That might be Chris for the next 3 weeks. But guys, thanks for tuning in this week. Everybody will see you again next week. I'm gonna miss you guys, but I'll see you guys in a few weeks when I get back done. This whole work thing is bullshit.
Dang work.
But the work thing is what funds our paranormal, so gotta keep doing it. So
Thank
make
you
sure
so
you
much.
guys all come in next week. Thanks everybody. Thanks Dr. J for joining us this
Yeah,
week.
Dr. JC.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to our faithful loving audience and
Thank
friends
you.
that join us every week. Thank you guys so much. And guys, remember, if you want to investigate the flatlands of Ohio and see guys that have been frozen in time and still haunting the cemeteries that they're in, and women's faces in places where you never expected to see them, you got to visit Dr. J. You got to visit the flat, freezing lands of Ohio. But most of all, guys, you got to stay haunted. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
Bye.
See ya. Thank you, guys.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?